let's talk about one of the most maddening parts of being human, getting in our own way. We're going to dive into those invisible walls we build for ourselves, and more importantly, figure out how we can finally start to tear them down.
I mean, really think about it for a second. You've got these big goals, these amazing dreams, and yet somehow the one person who always seems to be standing in the way is you. If that feels even a little bit familiar, then you've come to exactly the right place. So, what does this actually look like in real life? Before we can get to the why, we gotta be able to spot the signs in our own day-to-day. See if any of this rings a bell. Putting off that project you say you care so much about? Picking a stupid fight right when a relationship starts to feel good and stable? Or maybe it's just staying stuck in that job that makes you miserable, or finding yourself in the same bad situation over and over again. It's that awful feeling of being stuck in mud, just paralyzed. Well, these aren't just random bad habits. They're all connected by one powerful and seriously misunderstood force. To really get what's going on underneath all of that, we have to look at this whole struggle in a completely different way. We need a new metaphor. And that new perspective comes from the incredible work of Brianna Wiest. In her book, The Mountain Is You, she does more than just point out the problem. She basically hands us a map for the entire journey to get over it. Okay, this is the core idea right here. We always think of mountains as these huge external things we have to conquer. But Wiest's whole point is that the biggest, toughest challenge we will ever face isn't out there somewhere. The mountain, it's you. So this isn't about defeating some enemy, it's about finally understanding and mastering ourselves. Now, this is where things get really, really interesting. This idea completely flips the script on how we see all those self-defeating things we do. It all starts with one huge mindset shift. For pretty much our whole lives, this is what we've been told, right? When we mess things up for ourselves, it's because we're weak or lazy or just not disciplined enough. And believing that just throws us into this endless cycle of shame and self-blame that keeps us right where we are. But what if that's completely wrong? This is the big aha moment from the book Self-Sabotage. Isn't a flaw. It's actually a weird, misguided form of self-protection. It's your subconscious brain trying to keep you safe from something it thinks is a threat, even when that threat is the exact success or happiness you're dying to have. It all happens when our deepest needs, for safety, for love, for feeling like we're enough, get all twisted up with our biggest fears. Let's make this super clear. Procrastinating on that big project? Well, that's your brain trying to save you from the sting of failure. Blowing up a perfectly good relationship? That's your brain thinking the chaos you're used to is actually safer than the scary vulnerability of real love. It all comes down to this. The self-sabotage is just the symptom. The real disease is fear, and it's born from our deepest unmet needs. This quote from Wiest just nails it, doesn't it? It's that internal war between what our conscious mind wants and what our subconscious mind is terrified of, and we see it play out in our lives every single day. Okay, so if this is all just a wacky protection system, how do we actually break free? Well, this is where the real climb begins, and I'm not gonna lie, it's not easy, but it is the only way to truly transform. This right here explains the constant tug of war inside us. See, your brain's number one job isn't to make you happy, it's to keep you alive. And to your subconscious, anything that's familiar feels safe. That's why we so often choose the pain we already know, that familiar misery, over a happiness that feels new and unpredictable, even if that unfamiliar joy is everything we've ever wanted. And we have to get something straight. We've kind of been sold this idea that self-care is all about comfort and bubble baths, but real, deep, lasting healing, it is not comfortable. It's a battlefield. It takes serious courage to face the stuff we've been running from. This is what real healing actually looks like. It's setting boundaries, even if it makes other people unhappy. It's making those gut-wrenching choices, like leaving relationships that drain the life out of you. It's finally looking at yourself in the mirror and dealing with all the parts you've tried to hide. That takes guts. And sometimes the journey starts with what feels like a complete breakdown. But Wiest has a totally different take on this. Hitting rock bottom isn't a failure, it's the turning point. It's the moment where you just can't lie to yourself anymore. It's a necessary collapse of your old life so that a new one can be born. It's kind of like a star that has to implode on itself before it can explode into a brilliant supernova. So after all that hard work and climbing, what's waiting for you at the top? It's about so much more than just stopping a few bad habits. It's about achieving true self-mastery. At the end of the day, this journey isn't about blaming your parents or your past or waiting for some hero to come save you. It's about taking what's called radical responsibility. It's that moment you realize deep in your bones that you are the one in charge of your life. And that's not scary. It's the most freeing, empowering feeling in the world. And part of that responsibility is changing how we even think about purpose. It's not about landing some fancy job title or achieving something massive. As this quote says so beautifully, your main purpose is just to be here. Your very existence has already changed the world in tiny ways you'll never even see. The real work is just becoming the best, kindest, most authentic version of yourself. And this, right here, is the ultimate takeaway of the entire book. The point isn't to get to the summit and plant a flag. The whole point is the climb itself, who you become on the way up, the strength, the wisdom, the compassion for yourself you develop. That's the real prize. That part stays with you forever. That is the whole point of the mountain. So, after all of that, it all just boils down to one simple but huge question. You know what the mountain is now. You know the climb is going to be hard. And you know what's waiting for you if you do it. The only question left is, are you ready to take the first step?